Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. I would like to give a special thanks to South Motors Honda for giving me time with the 2022 Honda Accord EXL Hybrid. If you're in the market for a Honda, you can come check out South Motors Honda and they will get you into a new pre-owned vehicle. But let's talk about the front styling here of the Honda Accord. And yes guys, I do own a Honda Accord as my daily driver, and my model is painted in this platinum white exterior color, which is a $395 charge. And for 2022, Honda did not make any changes because they made those changes back in 2021. But Honda is rumored to be redesigning the Accord for 2023 from the ground up. But looking here at these headlights here, they're gonna come standard on all models of the Accord as full LEDs with an automatic low and high beam, with the LED turn signal, with an LED daytime run light. There's front parking sensors. There's also these LED fog lights here at the lower part of the fascia. And this area here is functional to put an air curtain over the brakes and wheels. And the grille does look larger for this model year because Honda, like I mentioned, they did make some few changes for 2021. And there's the Honda sensing down there. It does have adaptive cruise control with emergency braking. We'll talk about the driver features a little later on in the actual video. There's the Honda emblem here, which is painted blue, or with this blue outline to signify that this is the hybrid model of the Accord. But looking here, I want you guys to comment down below in the comment section and tell me what you guys think about this 10th generation Accord. Looking at these tires and wheels here, these are a 225/50 Michelin tire. Me personally, I'm a big fan of these hybrid wheels here. A lot of people don't like them, but I think they look really good, especially with this white exterior color. And they're wrapped in a 17-inch rim design. Keep in mind, if you guys go for a bigger rim design, which is up to a 19, it will ding the fuel economy. There's some chrome trim here at the lower part of the door panel. And stepping away from the Accord here, this has a wheelbase of 111.4 inches with an overall length of 196.1. So this vehicle is right on par with something like a Toyota Camry, a Hyundai Sonata. So really good proportions here from the Accord. Looking here at this hybrid badge here is on the side fender. This is LED sight marker here. And my model does come equipped with blind spot monitoring. And up top, Honda just offers a standard size sunroof. There's no panoramic sunroof here for this 10th generation. You have to wait for the next generation if Honda offers that feature. But making our way to the rear here of the Honda Accord, looking at these taillights here, they're an LED combination with an incandescent reverse light, with an incandescent turn signal, but the brake lights are full LED. There's the hybrid badge there. There's the Accord name, which is spelled out, and shout out to South Motors right there. And there's the Honda emblem there. And looking down here, there's rear parking sensors, also with the backup camera. And there's no dual tip exhaust. Honda just hides it underneath the rear bumper there. But open up the cargo bag here. There's a trunk release. Once you click that, it reveals 16.7 cubic feet of space. And underneath here, Honda does give you a temporary fix-a-flat kit instead of a spare tire. And you can also fold the seats down to do a 60-40 split. And there's some grocery hooks back here to basically hang groceries if you would like. And this is how you fold down the seats via this little handle here. But overall, let's hop into the interior of the Honda Accord. Sitting inside the interior of the Honda Accord EXL Hybrid here, my model does have this two-tone color combination, and Honda didn't need to make any changes to the interior because the interior still looks very modern. Like I mentioned, this is a two-tone color combination, and Honda calls this an ivory. It looks really good with the wood trim in here, but the wood trim is not fooling anyone. It's definitely a fake wood trim. There's also some aluminum painted trim throughout this cabin. But reaching over here to shut the door of the Honda Accord, the door sounds really nice. But to start up the vehicle, just put your foot on the brake and press the power button down here. Once you do that, keep in mind this is the hybrid model, so the vehicle is ready to go once you start it right up, and it's tell you that it's ready to drive. This area here is going to be a partial digital display that you can customize pressing this home button here. It will show you your power flow, eco drive, phone and charge, also range and fuel. There is fuel economy as well. So you can customize this display to your liking. Looking at the door panel materials here, you're going to be a soft touch ejection mold, the plastic, more of that fake wood trim, which looks really nice. There's some aluminum painted trim here, also with the aluminum accented door handle. There's two-person memory seats right there. There's your window control, lock controls. It is auto up, auto down, only for the driver and passenger, but not for the rear window. Some other competitors offer automatic up and down for all four. There's the Honda sensing here, the traction control, there's parking sensors, and there's your trip computer reset button there. Trunk release button is down here. There's also additional storage and cup holder space, and the hood latch is right there. This is a manual tilt and telescoping wheel. It does offer a good amount of range and adjustability. This does have this 3-spoke wheel design here, which is really nice. There's the Honda emblem there. Over here is the driver's assistance. It does have adaptive cruise control with blind spot monitoring. We're talking about the driver's assistance features once we get into the actual test drive. And these paddle shifters here are not what you guys think it's for. This is for regenerative braking, so it can catch that energy and put it back into that 1.3 kilowatt hour battery pack, which lives underneath the rear seat. So that's why you still have that really good cargo space, because Honda puts the battery pack underneath the rear seats. There's the headlight stock there with the wind wiper stock right there. I like the nice high quality leather with the nice stitching here. The materials on the dash are going to be a nice soft touch ejection molded plastic. My model is missing the heads up display. You have to go for the touring trim if you want that feature, but great visibility out of the Accord here. But looking at this infotainment system here, this is an 8-inch display. If you guys want wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you have to go for the EXL and touring trim. You cannot get it on the base LX or the sport model. Unfortunately, frustratingly, I wish I did have the wireless Apple CarPlay on my Honda Accord, because it's way much better than using the actual wire. But if you guys don't like the wireless capability, you can still use your USB. Like I mentioned, it's wireless. There's some shortcut buttons here. There's a big volume and tune knob. The touch response here is really good. I like this infotainment system. And with me living with this car, it's super responsive. It doesn't lag once I start the vehicle up with my personal car. But going here to the waves here, it does take up the entire 8-inch display. And this 8-inch display does come standard on all models of the Accord. You just can't get the wireless feature. You have to go for certain trims in order to get that. Like I mentioned, there's also 3-level heated seats here. If you guys want cool seats, you have to go for the touring trim in order to get that feature, because Honda will put it down here in this area or right here. I forgot where they place it at, but there's these big knobs here for the dual climate control. Looking down here, my iPhone 12 Pro Max does fit really good here in the wireless phone charger area, and you can close this back so no one will know where your phone is at. There's also 2 USB ports, also with a 12-volt there, and this does house that eCVT transmission, or continuously variable transmission, but they just call it CVT for short. Putting the vehicle into reverse, as you guys can see, you're greeted by this backup camera, and this does have rear cross traffic alert. And if you guys can hear really quickly, it does make this roaring sound to let pedestrians know that the vehicle is in reverse. But there's different angles around the vehicle that you can look at. It does have trajectory with distance markers. There's front and rear parking sensors. Like I mentioned, the car senses that there's something coming and you don't put the brakes on, it will stop the vehicle itself. You click this to go into neutral. You click this to go into drive. There's an eco button here. That's the sport mode. There's also EV mode, so you can drive and unless your range for a short period of time, which is super impressive. We'll talk about the drive modes a little later on in the video. There's electronic parking brake. That's an auto hold. There's 2 large cup holders here. This is the key fob here. It's not like the new Civic that they kind of shrunk the key, but the key does feel nice and sturdy in my hands. There's a lock, unlock. There's remote start mode. You can access the trunk via this button here, and there's a panic button at the lower part of the key fob. The lighting in the cabin is going to be an incandescent. There's also the sunglass holder here, and my model does come standard with the sunroof. Unfortunately, there's no panoramic sunroof, so you guys want that feature, you have to look at the other competitors in the segment. The seats in here, they do feel very plush and very comfortable. Like I mentioned, I do like this ivory interior. Looks really nice. Looking at the glove compartment here, it does offer a large storage. The center armrest here does offer a lot of storage in there as well. There's also a 12-volt in there, and you can remove this tray if you would like. But overall, I'm very impressed with this cabin. Like I mentioned, Honda didn't make any changes because they didn't need to make any changes, because the cabin still feels very modern. But let's hop into the back seat of the Honda Accord. Let's get into the back seat here of the Honda Accord. Open up the door here. The door opens at a pretty good angle, but getting inside the Accord, like I mentioned from the front seat, I like this ivory interior. It looks really nice here with the white exterior color. But looking down here, Honda says you get around 40.9 inches of legroom. You also have plenty of foot space underneath the driver's seat. This is where I have the seat to drive. There's 2 mat pockets back here for storage. There's rear air vents. There's also 2 charging ports here that Honda added for 2021. Surprisingly, the floor back here is not flat, but you can fit a middle passenger here if you would like. The seats do feel very plush and very comfortable. The materials on the door panel are going to be a nice soft touch ejection with the plastic. I do like the fake wood trim. It looks really good with this ivory interior. It's going to be nice and padded here to rest your elbows. There's also additional storage and cup holder space. Pulling this armrest down here, it does reveal 2 cup holders and a nice area to rest your arms, and the seats do fold down in a 60/40 manner. And above me, there's going to be incandescent lighting throughout the cabin, and there's also this standard size sunroof because Honda does not offer a panoramic sunroof for the 10th generation, and frustratingly, a model is missing heated seats. I think you have to go for the Touring if you guys want that feature. But overall, the Honda Accord is the most spacious in the segment, and honestly, it does live up to that. Let's talk about the powertrain specs here for the Honda Accord. Honda will offer this with 3 powertrains. The base models will get a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, which makes 192 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque. If you guys don't want that powertrain, Honda will happily sell you a 2-liter 4-cylinder, which is paired with a 10-speed automatic transmission, which makes 252 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. That's a detuned version of the Civic Type R engine. If you guys don't want that powertrain either, and you want fuel economy, I would recommend going for this 2-liter 4-cylinder. It does have a combined total output of 212 horsepower. It's paired with a 1.3 liter kilowatt-hour battery pack, and this is rated to get 48 in the city, 47 on the highway, and 47 combined. As the Accord sits here, it weighs around 3,300 pounds, and this is paired with a continuously variable transmission, or CVT for short. And keep in mind, all Honda Accords do come standard with front-wheel drive. So starting off in the 2022 Honda Accord EXL Hybrid. Right now I'm driving the vehicle in an electric range only, and you have to basically creep around, but it does make that roaring sound to let pedestrians know that the vehicle is moving. But if I were to give it a little bit more gas here, the electric mode is disabled, because keep in mind this is a 1.3 liter kilowatt-hour battery pack. So the battery pack is not that big, and the battery pack actually lives underneath the rear seats, so it doesn't mess with the actual cargo space. You still get best in class 16.7 cubic feet of space, and the visibility out of the Accord here is super good. You have a great commanding view of the road as well. The seats in here, they're comfortable, they're plush. Really like these seats. Let's talk about the driver's assistance here. This does come standard with emergency braking, with forward collision warning, with blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control. So it does have Honda's safety sense of really good. Like I mentioned before, I do have an Accord as my personal car, and I like the driver's assistance. But just sitting here, you barely hear any outside noise, so the cabin is really quiet. Honda used some really good sound deadening materials, and my model does come with this standard size sunroof here. If you guys want more available features like a heads-up display or even cool seats and whatnot, you have to look at the Touring trim. That's the only way that you're gonna get those nice features. But this EXL is equipped really nicely, in my opinion. I do like this ivory interior here. It looks really nice with the platinum white exterior color. And for 2021, Honda did make Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless, but you have to go for the EXL trim and also the Touring trim if you want that feature. Unfortunately, the sport models and base models do not get that wireless capability. And for 2023, Honda is rumored to basically redesign the Accord from the ground up. So fingers crossed, I can't wait to see how that vehicle looks. They might change up all the criticism that they've been getting, like not having a large panoramic sunroof, not having a full gauge cluster. So who knows, Honda might even offer a plug-in variant as well. So that'd be really nice to have an Accord that you can plug in and get over 30 something miles of electric range and beefing up the battery. Because like I mentioned, this is a 1.3 liter kilowatt-hour battery pack, which is still a pretty decent size, but it's not enough to basically have this car drive full electric. But what's forward here, compared to the last hybrid that I drove a while back, that buzzy sound does not drone into the cabin anymore. It actually sounds really good. But let's come to a stop here. Let's put into a sport mode here. I'm gonna leave the traction on because I already know what's gonna happen if I turn the traction off. So it's in sport mode. The gas engine is kicked back on. Keep in mind, this only makes 212 horsepower. I'm gonna brake boost it and see if it lets me do anything. Nope, you will still roast the front tires. I left 2 little black skid marks in the road. So it doesn't matter if you don't brake boost it or not. It still will leave 2 marks in the road. Like I mentioned from the inside scene, these paddles here, they're not for what you think they are. They're for regenerative braking, so it can catch that energy and store it back into the actual battery pack. But let's see if it will bring the vehicle to a complete stop. You have around, right now I'm at 12 miles per hour, 10 miles an hour. It's like you get 4 strong settings of regenerative braking. And no, the car just basically just creeps along. It does not come to a complete stop. So you basically will have to engage on the brake if you want to come to a stop. But if you guys use a paddle shifters, it will catch that energy and put it back into the battery pack like I mentioned. And it does have a combine of 212 horsepower. Let's talk about the fuel economy, because this is vehicle's strong suit here. It has 48 in the city, 47 on the highway, and 47 combined, which is really good. Some other competitors may offer over 50 mpg, but for this car to still get over 40 plus is super impressive. But this car is kind of fighting for traction a little bit. I'm glad I don't have the traction control disabled, but this is a really good daily driver, especially since this thing gets over 40 miles per gallon, which honestly, I wish I would have got me a hybrid now, thinking about it. But I do like the hybrid Accord here. It's really good, very quiet. And this is a really good car. It's a good car to put your family in. You get best in class legroom, best in class cargo space. No other competitor even matches what Honda offers here. Like I mentioned, if you guys are looking for a daily commuter and you need the space and the rear legroom, the Honda Accord is a really good option in this segment. Starting price here for the Honda EXL Hybrid is at $32,990 with the options and accessories, including destination. The Honda Accord EXL Hybrid here stickers for $36,995. Hope you guys have enjoyed this review here. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Drive On Reviews and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next review.